So you're all welcome to PAIDEF's the Practical Artificial Intelligence Development Foundation webinar today, AI Stellar 4.0, which is themed Growing AI in Nigeria. I'll be moderating. My name is Taufik Abdul Karim. I'm the Director of Protocols and Publicity of PAIDEF, and I'll be moderating this webinar. I would like to welcome everybody present from members of the NEC of the Nigerian Computer Society, our Board of Trustees, led by Professor Additional Sodia, you're welcome, and executive members of PAIDEF, led by the President, Professor Ludele Awodele, you are also welcome. All members of PAIDEF present, you are welcome to this webinar. Guests, Mr. Blessing Oladeji and Dr. Haruna Chiroma, you are also welcome. Others are on the call, on Zoom, and also on Facebook. We are streaming this live on Facebook also. Who are yet to be members of PAIDEF, you are all welcome. We hope that by the end of the webinar, most of you will have gone online to fill out form and join PAIDEF formally. Without further ado, we want to try and stick to time. We want to finish this in an hour, 40 minutes. So we'll be taking the opening address, the welcome address by the president of the Practical Artificial Intelligence Development Foundation, Professor Oludele Awodele. Professor, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. The chairman, member of PAIDEF Advisory Board, PAIDEF National Executive Committee, our respected elders and fellows of Nigerian Computer Society, I'm privileged to welcome you to AI Stellar 4.0, a landmark interactive virtual gathering where AI professionals, the brightest mind in artificial intelligence, converge. Today, we are not merely here to exchange theories, we are here to co-create the roadmap for Nigeria AI power transformation. This event is a true reflection of PAIDEF funding vision to ignite collaboration, accelerate knowledge transfer, and champion research that position Nigeria as a formidable force in the global AI ecosystem. Our team, Growing AI in Nigeria, speaks to our dual commitment, deepening local impact and reaching for global excellence. Building on the powerful insights shared by our international experts in our previous edition of Stellar 1.0, 2.0, and 3.0, we are proud to now turn our focus inward, celebrating and amplifying homegrown expertise. Today, we are exceptionally privileged to host our distinguished guest of Africa, Martin, Saudi Arabia. Their collective wisdom promises to deliver seasons that are not only enlightening and motivating, but truly transformative. My heartfelt appreciation goes to the chairman and members of PAIDEF Advisory Board, National Executive Committee of PAIDEF, for their commitment to the cause of PAIDEF and for making this event possible. I extend my deepest gratitude to all our speakers, the dedicated organizing committee, and every one of you are dear participants for choosing to be part of this journey. Your energy, curiosity, and intellect are the very fuel that will accelerate AI growth across our nation. Let me use this opportunity to invite you all to our forthcoming international conference, that is the second Artificial Intelligence for Development and Development.
Thank you, sir.
understanding of AI application and implication, and enriching, motivating, and inspiring engagement with experts from governmental agencies, academia, and industry. Let us please try and be part of this conference. As I stop, I'd like to plead that we use this platform to build meaningful networks, engage, candid dialogue, and plant the seed for a future where Nigeria innovation leads, inspire, and endure. Thank you for being here today, and God bless.
Thank you, Mr. President, for that detailed opening remarks and for welcoming everybody to this afternoon's webinar. Without further ado, we move on to the next in the program, which is the profile reading of the first guest. But before then, I just want to let us know that the first presentation will be taken by Mr. Blessing Oladeji, will be for 30 minutes. If you have questions and contribution, you can note those down. After his presentation, we'll take that of Dr. Haruna Chiroma for another 30 minutes before we then take Q&As for 30 minutes. So you can note your questions down and you can send them also in the chat. For those joining us on Facebook, you can put your questions in the comment on Facebook. They'll be passed or they'll be read here so that our guests can answer them. So the profile of Dr. Mr. Blessing Oladeji. Mr. Blessing Oladeji leads Octave Analytics and Insights Limited as a managing consultant, where his forward-thinking approach has propelled transformative data-driven AI solutions for client businesses. With a background in computer science and he's currently a doctoral researcher, Blessing combines academic rigor with practical certification from prominent tech authorities. His leadership at Octave Analytics has been pivotal in steering the company towards significant growth and commanding market positions through strategic goal settings and hands-on team development. Since 2017, Blessing has been instrumental in educating teams from various sectors on the practical applications of analytics and machine learning to enrich customer relations and retention strategies. His tenure includes key achievements like refined customer segmentation for MTN Nigeria, ROU optimization for First Bank, customer value management for several commercial banks, geospatial analytics for Airtel and IHS, using analytical techniques and pioneering intelligent machine learning-based recommendation services for B2Cs, which greatly improve customer interactions. His strategic vision led to a major overhaul of analytical processes at FCMB Nigeria, enhancing the company's customer engagement and segmentation efforts. Furthermore, he tackled critical risk management for Etisalat Nigeria by leading a project that resolved potential revenue losses. Under his guidance, Airtel Nigeria saw the launch of groundbreaking sales analytics application, streamlining the company's operations and boosting efficiency. Mr. Oladeji's career spans over 19 years and crosses several international borders, with significant contributions in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Rwanda, and Kenya. In his current capacity as the managing partner of Octave Analytics, Blessing continues to demonstrate exceptional capability in guiding governments and B2C companies through the intricacies of revenue, data, and customer value management. His experience covers a broad spectrum from data science to business intelligence consulting, supporting clients in telecommunications, consumer goods, and banking sectors. Mr. Blessing Oladeji is recognized for his contributions to the ecosystem through several awards and recognition home and abroad. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Blessing Oladeji for the first presentation. Mr. Blessing, you are welcome.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. That was a very elaborate introduction of me. Thank you. I really so much appreciate it. Um, Let me see if I can turn on my camera. We try to conserve the bandwidth here, but I'll try and turn on my camera. Yeah, so if you can see me, yeah, please indicate if you can see me. Can you see me? Hello.
Yes, we can. Good to
Okay,
see you again.
fantastic. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. I really want to appreciate the leadership and the board of management for PAIDeF for always extending this high stake and high powered invitation to me at your event. I'm also a member of PAIDeF, so I thank you for this opportunity to share my insight and my perspective in terms of how we can grow AI adoption or AI implementation in Nigeria. 30 minutes is not enough, but let me see how I can do justice to that. Assuming I'm starting 4:15, so I'm sharing my slide right away. Please, can you grant me permission to share my slide?
That has been granted, Mr. President. You can go ahead.
Thank you. So yes, share. Okay, please confirm if you can see my slide.
Yes, we can.
Okay, fantastic. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to also acknowledge the presence of the audience that are in the room. It's great to be here, and I'm always glad to honor the invitation from PAIDeF. So this afternoon, I'm just going to be sharing some of my perspective and my insights and my experience in terms of innovative strategies for growing AI in Nigeria. My name is Blessing Oladeji, as I've been elaborately introduced, and I'm the head of Octave Analytics. Essentially, what we do at Octave Analytics is to help businesses leverage data as an enterprise asset. And if we are talking about AI, the bedrock for artificial intelligence is data. Whether the data is structured or whether the data is unstructured, whether you have the data or you don't have the data, whether you have the data and you know that you have it, or you have it or you don't even know that you have it. Data is foundational to building AI systems. So for about 10 years now, we've been helping businesses to structure their data in a way that they can leverage it in order to be able to make more sense and be able to um, build systems like the kind of AI systems that we are going to be discussing today. For my agenda for today, there are like 4 points I intend to cover within a 30-minute period. But I'll try as much as possible to make it as practical as possible. So even if I don't cover all of my slide, I don't think it's going to be a problem. But at the end of the day, I must have made my point by the time I had to do a hard stop on the 30 minute mark. But we are looking at four things. The moment, let's explore where are we now, and why are we talking about Nigeria, and why are we talking about AI? Why are we talking about it now? And what is the blueprint? What do we even have on ground? What are the existing efforts that the minister or the Ministry of Information and Communication and Data Economy, what are the existing efforts that they have implemented? And then we'll now look at those strategies. Then we'll now recommend some of those strategies we can adopt in order to be able to grow AI within the Nigerian market. Of course, these ideas are also replicable across other sub-Saharan markets, even across global markets, But essentially, we look at those strategies, and then how do we move? How do we move from here? So 4 points that we're looking at. So let's start with the moment. Where exactly are we? AI in itself is not really like a very new concept. The word AI was coined by a professor of computer science sometime around 1951. His name, Alan Turing, he coined the word AI, and he said that if we are able to attain a state where if you pose a question at a computer and the computer responds in such a way that you cannot differentiate whether it's a human being that responded or whether it's a computer that responded, then we can say that the machine has attained artificial intelligence. So on that basis, we can define AI as the ability of machine to mimic human intelligence. So if machine can behave like human beings in such a way that we cannot distinguish whether it's a human being that is there or whether it's a machine that is there. At that point, you can say that is artificial intelligence. And within 20, so there's been a lot of research and a lot of effort that can I go on?
Yeah, please go on.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Please go on. We're with you.
okay, thank you. So yeah, so there's been a lot of research, there's been a lot of developments around artificial intelligence. It's not necessarily a new concept. So when you play a chess game, it's like you're playing AI. You're playing with an artificial intelligence object. When you lock your car key in the car, and you try to lock the door, and the door refuses to lock. It's because the car has attained some level of intelligence to know that there's a key inside the car, and because the key can sense the key in the car, so because of that, the car refuses to lock. That is some level of artificial intelligence. But in 2022, around November 2022, artificial intelligence became democratized. It now became something that everybody can have access to. People can have it now on their phone. It's no longer something that is reserved to some exclusive Harvard or UI or Unilag trained experts. Now everybody can have access to AI. So whether you're an accountant or whether you're a farmer or whether you are a driver, whether you are a lecturer, regardless of who you are, you can now apply artificial intelligence into your everyday life. And the opportunity is huge. PwC estimated that the value of this market is about 15.7 trillion US dollars by 2022. That's a huge opportunity. So it's a huge opportunity that we can leverage, as a country, as Nigeria. So what are those advantages that Nigeria itself has upon which it can leverage artificial intelligence? Number one, Nigeria has a population of 240 million. That is significant. That is huge. And out of this 240 million population, our median age, if you add everybody's age together and divide it by 240 million, is about 18. So we can say like maybe the average age of Nigeria or the median age for Nigeria is 18. And more than 70% of Nigerian population, they are more than 30, they are less than 30, they are under 30. That is significant. And also, when you look at technology space, has Nigeria itself been able to leapfrog itself in some technology space? Yes, if you look at fintech, some of the fintech technology that you have in Nigeria, they are not even there in Europe, they are not there in US. That you do a transaction and automatically the transaction is reflecting on the person is receiving alerts. Some of these technologies, they are not even available in some very advanced market. So yes, Nigeria has some advantage, and that is exactly where we are. But however, even though we have those advantages, we still have issues that we are battling with, in Nigeria. And all of these are going to affect how we innovate ourselves, in order to be able to adopt and leapfrog the adoption of AI in Nigeria. So given our advantage, some of the disadvantages that we have there, we are still struggling with power, you know. Maybe before I finish this call now, maybe NEPA will switch off the lights, and AI requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of energy to be able to power AI. Then when it comes to skill sets, there are still a lot of gap we need to cover in terms of skill sets, because at the point when so for some high tech implementation, you still require AI experts in the areas of computer vision, in the areas of natural language processing, in the area of Ali, could you please mute your microphone? Yeah. Um, so uh, moderator, if you could just mute those people that are not speaking now so that there will be less interjections. Yeah. So in terms of skill supply, there's still like a lot of effort we need to put in that space. Then also, one key component that has made AI to become mainstream, to become democratized, is hardware, is infrastructure itself, and some of this infrastructure, they are quite expensive. If you are going to be building a self-driving car, or if you're even going to be modeling maybe maternal health using some AI models, maybe imaging, you are going to be modeling some images, you are going to be modeling voices. All of this require high power infrastructure, and all of these, they come with significant cost. Even though there are some interventions that are currently in place, we are going to get to all those in a bit. Then there is also the need for research and funding. Governments, even businesses, private entities in Nigeria, they don't really fund research. You see, many of those researchers in the university, they still spend their money, they still spend their own personal resources in order to be able to research, to collect data, and to mine the data, and to build the model, and to come up with whatever conclusions or outputs that they come up with eventually. But again, funding can be a significant requirement in trying to breed this space. But in a nutshell, that is exactly where we are. But again, any problem that you see in Nigeria, those are opportunities for us to conquer the world. So let's look at the blueprint. What exactly is the federal government even doing at this particular point in time? Because again, if we are going to innovate, we may not necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. We may not necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. We may need to plug into some of those strategies that are already existing. We may plug into some of those efforts and interventions that are existing. But in some cases, we may probably need to build the solution from ground up. But let's look at the national blueprint. Nigeria itself is thinking about this. It is not strange to the leadership, of our ecosystem from the national perspective. So sometime in 2024, the federal, under the auspices of the Federal Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, formulated the national AI strategy, and this was co-created. About 120 experts were put in a room, and they came up with the idea in terms of what is going to be the direction, that Nigeria has to go, what is going to be the strategy we have to adopt, what is going to be the vision, and for those visions, what are going to be the objectives, what are going to be the pillars that we need to consider in order for us to be able to drive AI adoption within the Nigerian ecosystem itself. Perhaps, of course, some of the experts that are in this meeting, or members of PAIDeF, Nigerian Computer NCS, Nigeria Computer Society. Some of us were part of that we were part of that strategy formulation, and then we came up with a national AI strategy document, essentially, which is going to guide the vision and the mission for AI implementation in Nigeria. And the overall national vision for us is to be a leader, in leveraging ethical and inclusive innovation, to develop local talent and to have strategic collaborations that can help us to drive sustainable development of AI in Nigeria. There were three key objectives, from that national AI strategy. Number one is to be able to drive economic growth. Can we build companies? Can we build institutions? Can we build industries, that be able to leverage AI for competitive advantage, So if you have a call center, for example, that has like maybe 2,000 agents and you spend a lot of money, is it possible to model a call center in such a way that an AI agent responds, and it responds as if it's a real human being, and you cannot tell the difference, and the AI agent resolves the customer issues, Also, can we use AI to drive economic growth? Can we build competitive AI companies and high value jobs, Can we build talent in such a way that they can compete with anybody globally in the areas of AI, and then we can have talents from Nigeria that are developing world-class AI systems. Those are part of the national vision. Then the second part of the objective for the national AI strategy was, can we drive social development? Can we use AI to improve the primary healthcare service delivery, for example? Can we use AI in order to drive or to improve in the quality of education that is delivered across all levels of the Nigeria Ministry of Education, whether it's primary level or secondary level or tertiary level? Is there a way we can adopt AI in order to be able to achieve this? Can we implement AI in the agriculture space in order to improve the yield and productivity? And then the other objective, and which is the final objective, for the AI strategy, is how do we even position Nigeria as a leader in this space, in such a way that we can build indigenous expertise and the whole world can come to us to learn what we are doing and recognize us as a leader in this particular space. Those were the plans in the national AI strategy. This document is publicly available, and even what I have done sometime in the past is that after that document was a bit bulky, maybe about 98 or 100 and something pages, but I decided to summarize that document into like a maybe 15 to 20 page document, and I'll be glad to share that with the audience. After this meeting, I'll be able to share that with the moderator so that they can share with all the participants in this meeting. So with that, if you see that document, you can know this is the direction that the government wants to go. And there are 5 pillars in that national AI strategy. Number one is infrastructure, and we are going to touch on each of these. In fact, this would inform the innovative strategies that I'm going to be recommending, for the growth of AI in Nigeria. Number one is infrastructure, and that has to do with it's no brainer. The computing resource must be there. The data must be available. Energy must be available. If there is no data, there is no AI. If there is no energy, there's a limit to the extent which you can do AI. If there is no computing capabilities, then there's still a limitation in terms of how you run your model. If you run some machine learning models, on your local computer, you want to do a simple job like maybe maybe what's it called now? Dormancy prediction, or maybe 200,000 data sets, for example. Once you click the run button, you probably need to go away and go and do other things. It will take like 6 hours before it gives you your results. But imagine if you can do that in 6 seconds, So infrastructure is extremely important in order to be able to grow in order to be able to grow the ecosystem. Then, secondly, is the ecosystem itself. And I want to appreciate PAIDeF for what the PAIDeF is doing. PAIDeF is an ecosystem of AI practitioners, and that is fantastic. And of course, there are also other ecosystems, there are also other players within the country that are also developing ecosystems around AI, data science, essentially. And these are helping us to build world-class talents, So when you talk about AI, when you talk about natural language processing, it's not a strange concept to them. When you talk about RAG, it's not a strange concept. When you say RAG, they're not thinking about a torn cloth that they are using to clean the floor. That's not what comes to mind. Then they are also developing research and also building startup within those ecosystems. Then again, as part of the strategic pillar is how do we drive adoption of AI? Because that is also extremely very, very important. So when I say drive the adoption of AI, you can build AI system and nobody is using it, and if no one is using it, then the purpose is defeated if nobody is using the AI solutions that Nigerians are building. So how do we drive adoption? Then the fourth strategic pillar is it has to do with ethics and governance and safety. AI can be used in a very bad way. AI can be used in a very bad way it can be used in a very bad way. So how do we make sure that AI is used responsibly? That is another strategic pillar. And finally, is governance. What are the rules? Who is setting the standard? Who is providing oversight for AI, in Nigeria? Those are the five strategic pillars. Now, part of what the government is doing is there is a national AI scaling hub, and this is in partnership with Bill Gates Foundation. And because of the fact that the government has recognized that, see, guys, it's expensive, for you to set up infrastructure in order to be able to scale AI. And in fact, it requires coordinated efforts even to drive the adoption of AI in some specific industry. If you have a farmer in Sokoto or Zamfara, he does not care about AI. He just cares about, I put my seed in the ground and I get my yield. You understand? So if we are going to drive adoption in that space, then there should be some coordinated efforts along that line. So because of that, the Bill Gates Foundation gave a grant of about 7.5 million US dollars to Lagos Business School. But of course, the federal government of Nigeria facilitated that. The minister facilitated that to a large extent, and that is to provide innovators. So for people who are building systems, who are building platforms, who are building startups around, who are innovating around health, agriculture, and education, at least they can have access to resources. So you don't have to go and buy a server. You don't need to go and buy an infrastructure from what's it called now, from Nvidia, because it's expensive, and because of the fact that you need to buy it, it can slow you down. You can just use the infrastructure that is already available within the AI scaling hub to build your model, and then you can deploy your model in production, once the model is already built. Those were the ideas, and this is already something is something that it's ongoing. It's ongoing. I think just last Friday, yes, just last Friday, Lagos Business School had an event in Abuja Continental Hotel, just to give an update in terms of how the progress report in terms of the AI scaling hub. Then also within the ecosystem, we've seen data centers. Data centers are now also setting up AI-enable infrastructure within their data center. So before now, you just had servers, you just have cooling, you have power. But now, what many of those data centers, what they are doing, they are now also bringing equipment. They are bringing infrastructure that is capable of running AI models. So you don't have to go you don't have to travel far in order for you to have the infrastructure, the computing power that you need to build your models. That is also ongoing, and significant investment is happening in that space. I have a friend who just came back from the US recently, and he is also trying to set up his own AI-powered data center somewhere in Lekki, in Lagos. Those are some of the things that you may want to check out. Then also within the ecosystem, there's a lot of training that is going on. Some of us may not believe in some of those training, and there's a Yoruba adage that says, um, when you pound yam in when you cook vegetable soup in I can't say it very well, but what it means is that no matter how small the intervention is, at the end of the day, some people will still get some value out of it. If I say it in Yoruba, it says "Tán bá gúnyán nínú ewé kán sebẹ̀ nínú èpo ẹ̀pà." That means if you pound yam on a leaf and you cook the soup in granite in peanut shell, the person that will still be fed after eating that kind of food will still feel satisfied. It's something profound. So there has been a lot of training around 3MTT, the Nigerian AI and robotics lab is also training, it's also helping to build capacity. All of these, they are scattered here and there, they are scattered intervention here and there. But at the end of the day, I think something is going to come out of it, at the end of the day. So if you want to start, it could be a starting point for you if you can find yourself plugged into some of this environment. But more importantly is the PAIDeF. PAIDeF is an ecosystem where you can gain knowledge and insight and also know what is going on and update your skill around artificial intelligence in Nigeria. Now, to the meat of this presentation is Blessing. If you ask me, what are those strategic moves that we need to make in order to grow AI adoption in Nigeria? I can go this in detail, but again, from my presentation, you know that I've touched on some of them. So we need to focus on Nigerian problems, and there are so many Nigerian problems. Can AI help us to solve power problem? Can AI help us to solve leadership problem? Can AI help us to solve some of the health challenges in the country? Can AI help us to grow productivity? Can AI help us to grow productivity in agriculture or the yield from agri produce? Recently, in the past few days, there's been massive flood. There's been massive flood in Lagos. All of this can be modeled and they can be predictable. They can be modeled and they can be predictable to the point that AI can even give recommendations in terms of what needs to be done, or where are the flash points where the flood is going to do maximum damage. All of these opportunities, they are all there. So we need to think about Nigerian problem. There are some of the problems that maybe European models are proposing. They may not necessarily be what matters to us in Nigeria. So we need to think about solving Nigerian problems first. We need to build our ecosystem. We need to invest more in training people in this space. That is no brainer. The training is going to continue. In fact, when you train someone on AI 6 months ago, go and check. Some of those things you train the person on might have become stale or might have become outdated because new concepts are coming up from time to time. So for some of so how do we train and train at scale? And when I say training, to be honest, it must be impactful training. You can't train a developer with a 3 month 3MTT training. And to be honest, I stand to be corrected. And this does not in any way discount or run down what the Federal Ministry of Information and Communication and Digital Economy is doing around training people in the ecosystem. But you realize that some of those things they are training people on, in fact, AI can even get them done now. AI can even get those things done. So the question is that how do we train resources that can indeed be deployed in order to be able to solve real problems within the Nigerian environment. So we need to build talent, and these are opportunities for us because even you see a woman that has a shop, she wants to implement AI in her business strategy in a way that she can limit how much of physical interaction she's using to engage her customer in such a way that AI can respond on her behalf. How can we how can we train talent that can simply help all these small businesses to activate all of these capabilities, then compute and data, those ones are very important. You can't even build an AI system without data. So where do we get this data from? How do we afford local? How do we aggregate local data that is anonymized, that does not abuse confidentiality, that does not abuse data privacy laws that we have in the land? Can MTN, is it possible for MTN, for example, to share data with us without necessarily showing us the identity of the person behind those data? With that, we will be able to build models and scale significantly, and then there should be coordination within the ecosystem. The government should be able to coordinate this, the professionals, the academia should be able to coordinate the ecosystem. Maybe there's an ecosystem for founders, an ecosystem for researchers, an ecosystem for startups, and so on and so forth, and then we need to design responsibly. So just in closing, I'll just touch on just some few points, that we need to consider in order to be able to grow, or strategies in order to be able to grow AI adoption in Nigeria. Number one is our own language. We need to collect significant data on our own language and build models that can preserve our language. We cannot rely on Google to build language models for us. Google does not speak Yoruba. Like the adage that I spoke now, "Taba gúnyán nínú ewé, ká sebẹ̀ nínú èpo ẹ̀pà." Maybe we should attempt and put that in ChatGPT and see whether can ChatGPT understand this. ChatGPT cannot understand it. So even if a researcher decides to take all the Yoruba adages and then build a model that can interpret, that can explain Yoruba adages, that would be something, and you can do that across all the different languages that you have in Nigeria, like 250. Some languages are already becoming extinct. We can preserve these languages by documenting them and modeling them and keeping them somewhere in such a way that future generations can always make reference to them. We need to target three sectors in agriculture, in clinical diagnostics, in primary healthcare, in SME, in financial inclusion, in public service. There are some simple services that you need from a state government. You just want a simple data. That data can be available. You want to know even something around the budget in 2025 or 2020, for example, and how the budget has transitioned from 2020 to 2025. Sometimes you can't find this data, and these are data that should be publicly available. AI can help us to solve all of these problems in such a way that any information you want about Nigerian government that is publicly available, you can have it. We can build a data hub, and layer AI on top of that in such a way that it can respond to us as if it's an official of the government that is responding to us. So that is going to reduce the bureaucracy, in solving some of our problems. Then also, data ownership, it's a big deal. There is the data sovereignty in such a way that some of the data we are generating in Nigeria must even be in Nigeria. You cannot take Nigerian data and go and put it on AWS server, because once you put it on AWS, the guy in AWS itself is building an AI system and is also looking for data. He will use your data to build this model, and your data will not be missing. Your data will not be missing, but he has used your data to build this model. But your data is not missing. You will not know that something is missing, but someone has used your data to build this model, and it is very hard to prove that it is your data sometimes. Except in some cases, maybe when you wrote a book, if you are writing a book, maybe in some cases, but in some other cases, for some other type of data, it's very hard to prove that it's your data that they use in building those models. So our data should be local. We should be able to build those capabilities in order to be able to have our data reside in Nigeria. And then for the kind of technology that we are building for guys in the rural area, it should be offline first capable. And what does that mean? When I say offline first, sometimes the guys in the rural area, the internet quality is very poor. Connectivity is low. Power is also poor, so it should be a low bandwidth resource that can even run with limited or no internet connection. Those are the kind of implementation we should consider. There are a few other recommendations in my slide, but I know that I've already exceeded my time by like 4 minutes. So in a nutshell, just to be able to round up, based on the pillars of the national AI strategy, number one, we need to be able to power the engine room by providing infrastructure. And there are four main infrastructure. Number one is energy. Number two is the computing capability. Number three is data sets. And number four is even connectivity. So if you talk about connectivity, maybe you talk about the telcos. If you talk about data, then it's going to be the institution itself. If you talk about GPU, of course, there should be startups or companies that are ready to provide GPU as a service, for people can use it to build their models without necessarily investing heavily in buying those GPU. And there should be power. That one lies mainly on the government. Then in the other part, for the building the ecosystem, PAIDeF is already doing that significantly, but PAIDeF should also think about scaling its efforts. If you walk into the street now, go to a university and say, do you know PAIDeF? Maybe there's a few subset of the population that can tell, okay, we know PAIDeF. PAIDeF should also be able to scale its awareness and its intervention and its activity around the AI ecosystem so that people can see PAIDeF as the go-to body of experts or knowledge body when it comes to AI adoption. And then they should train more and connect more with the ecosystem as you're already doing with people like me. Then adoption, this is very important. We need the companies to be able to adopt AI models. If there's a local LLM and there's a foreign LLM, we should be able to make companies to adopt the local LLM. But of course, if you adopt it, that means it must add value. You cannot just force people to use something that does not add value to them. So that adoption is very key. It may be from government level or from the MDA levels or from even the private sector level. Adoption is very key. Or if the adoption is not there, then it is useless. It is useless. You are just going to train the talent in vain if that adoption is not there, or you are going to be building all of those systems in vain if the adoption is not there. Then, of course, we must build responsibly. You can use AI to do damage in as much as you can build AI for good. We must build responsibly. That is very, very important. And there should be a regulatory agency. I know that NDPC is planning to update the NDPA Act of 2023 in order to be able to capture AI. But of course, there should be an agency that is responsible for governance for the ecosystem. If you are building an AI system, they should be able to test it and jailbreak it. When Fable 5.0 was released like 2 weeks ago by Anthropic, that is Claude. That's like Claude 5.0. Some people went to report to the agency, say, we can jailbreak this thing, and they shut it down. They shut it down. So this, in the same way, there should be a regulator in Nigeria that can actually test some of this AI system and certify it as trusted and deployable, in the
Dr.
Nigerian.
Blessing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So we will give you like 2 minutes to round up. We know that if we give you an hour, we'll continue to enjoy the discussion.
Thank
But
you. Thank you very
right,
much. Thank
thank
you.
you.
So let me quickly round up. I think I'm almost done. I'm in fact, I'm to a large extent, I'm done. So where do you go from here? For my audience, for people that are not really experts in this space, where do you go? Where do you go from here? What is the next move? This ecosystem is moving, the industry, AI is moving very fast that it could be difficult for you to catch up. How do you move? Join PAIDeF. With PAIDeF, you can know from time to time what is happening. You must join the ecosystem. It's very, very important. So you must pick a lane. There are so many aspects of AI. There's AI in medicine, there's AI in edtech, there's AI in fintech, there's AI in agriculture, there's AI in so many areas. Your head can blow if you want to learn everything. There's AI, computer vision, there's AI, natural language processing. There are so many aspects of AI. Pick a particular area of AI and develop yourself in that area. And then for whatever we are building, we need to release it to the public for public to be able to adopt it. If you look at OpenAI, how they did it is that they built and they released it in the public. When public adopted it, after a while, they now started monetizing it. So if you think you built something fantastic, release it to the public, let the public adopt it. With that, we can significantly scale the adoption of AI in Nigeria. On this note, I want to thank you for listening to me. I'm sorry that I shot beyond my time, but thank you so very much. And I once again appreciate the leadership for extending this invitation to me. I'll be on standby to take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Blessing Oladeji, for we didn't expect less anyway from you. We'll still expect you to, of course, be here with us to take questions later on, and we also will be sharing his slides at the end of the meeting. So we send that to our email addresses. For those of us who are with us on Zoom, please, we want you to send the rounds of applause using the emoji to thank Mr. Blessing Oladeji, soon to be Dr. Oladeji. Thank you so much once again. The next speaker is Dr. Haruna Chiroma, and he will be discussing bridging the AI divide, empowering resources in Nigeria. I'll quickly read a short bio of Dr. Haruna Chiroma. He is an associate professor at the University of Afra Al Batin, College of Computer Science and Engineering, Saudi Arabia. He earned his PhD in Artificial Intelligence from the University of Malaya and holds a BTech and MSc in Computer Science from Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University and Bayero University, Kano, respectively. Dr. Chiroma is recognized among the top 2% most influential scientists in the world, a ranking prepared by Stanford University and elsewhere. His editorial experience includes his current role as editor for Discover Computing, formerly Information Retrieval, that's Springer, 2024 to date, and his previous role as associate editor of IEEE Access from 2018 to 2021. He is also an editorial board member of the IAES International Journal of Artificial Intelligence, associate editor of Telcom, and a member of the editorial board for recent advances in computer science and communications. Additionally, Dr. Chiroma has edited 3 books with Springer, Bredin, Heldenberg, and co-authored the book Computing Research Survival Manual, a practical handbook for beginners, 2023, with J.H. Abawaj, published by IOB Science Publishers, London. The book has seen significant impact with over 600 copies requested by more than 100 universities spanning 34 countries as of September 2024. Dr. Chiroma's research interests span artificial neural networks, deep learning, nature-inspired algorithms, natural language processing, large language models, and transformers, with a strong interest on technology-enhanced learning. With over 178 academic publications, his work has been featured in leading journals such as Neural Network World, Artificial Intelligence Review, Frontiers in Artificial Intelligence, Applied Subcomputing, Neural Computing and Applications, and the Journal of Ambient Intelligence and Humanized Computing. He has also reviewed for more than 100 ISI Scopus Index journals, including IEEE transactions on neural networks and learning systems, Artificial Intelligence Review, IEEE transactions on intelligent transportation systems, Applied Subcomputing, Expert System Applications, Knowledge-Based System, Soft Computing, and International Journal for Bio-Inspired Computation. In addition to his reading work, Dr. Chiroma has served on the Technical Program Committee for over 100 international conferences, workshops, and symposia. He was invited by QS World University Rankings to evaluate the university's research strength in computer science and participated in the 2022 and 2023 Times Higher Education World University Rankings survey. Dr. Chiroma currently supervises 5 MSc and 4 PhD students and has successfully graduated 13 MSc and 3 PhD students. So, Dr. Chiroma, you have the floor. 30 minutes. You can share your screen, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Is it moving? Yes, my slide moving from your side?
No, it's not yet.
Oh. Is it moving?
Not yet.
Okay.
You may need to reshare your slide, Doctor. You can no longer
Yes,
see
that's
your
what I'm
slides.
doing now.
Oh, okay, all right.
Is it moving?
Yes, it's moving from slide to slide now.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to present the little I have on bridging the AI divide for empowering researchers in Nigeria. So my presentation will be a little bit somehow, because of the audience, I don't have the background of all the audience, but based on my discussion with Prof. Shodia, it seems that there's a mix of those participants from the main IT industry and others that may like to join, but I may also join. And you know now, once you mention AI, a lot of people will try to come on to see what is happening. So I'm sure we have a lot of participants that are not from the core and IT background. So my slides will have a kind of little mixed up, a kind of something that is at the surface and something that goes a little bit deeper. But in the future, when I will present again, I promise to focus more on the IT and industry. That's where I will likely go into very deep on the technology behind all these models and how we can be able to build it using resources from Nigeria. So now let's see the outline for the presentation. We're going to look at a big brief of introduction, and then we'll look at historical development of an AI. We'll look at the empowering resources in Nigeria. We'll look at some tips for some virtual jobs that may be able to help maybe some students that joined. and even I have some also tips online virtual jobs that and it's good for some of the lecturers and the professors, doctors that we have in-house here. Then we'll look at a brief about the AI infrastructure, but I may likely skip it because I will talk maybe a little bit because you have the previous speaker have given enough resources on that. Then we'll look at some trending research topics. We see how so some of these trending research topics will be able to now see how our researchers can be able to venture into it and then try to work with it in the context of Nigerian resources. So, and if you look at this, the shout about AI, we were in the academics, in the universities and other institutions, just doing our stuff as usual, conduct our research, and then try to now see how we can now deploy it in a very small scale for some companies to use it and other small and medium industries. So in the last 5 years, the media now comes in immediately after the launch, especially after the launch of ChatGPT. When the media now comes in, they now blew the issue of AI beyond even our imagination. And if you look at the way they blow it up, including the mainstream media and the social media and the other conventional media, it has penetrated deep into the local into the local community. Almost everyone now you hear him talking about AI. Even someone that we have never expected that will mention AI now be mentioning AI for you. Someone that maybe you see someone, an old person, seeing someone frying akra, an old woman frying akra, and then or doing certain menial small jobs, and you hear her talking or hear him talking, mentioning AI. And even politicians now, anything if they do if they make some controversial statement or some of their some controversial video pop into the public space, and the next thing, the area of defense now they will now say is AI. So AI becomes a kind of a buzzword where almost everyone is talking about AI, 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 AI. So the media have really helped, have really contributed in this and this popularity of AI, even including misconception, the correct conception and the misconception. Everything is there in the public space. So, and the Collins English Dictionary has awarded an AI as the buzzword for 2024, 20 and 2023 because of how this it is arguable that AI is the most discussed science subject in the world currently. So, and as a result of AI growth, there is a kind of a demand for GPU, because we know that if you are processing images or large data, you need an accelerator that can be able to do that. So, and the makers, or we say the market players and the key players for these accelerators is NVIDIA. So because of the demand of developing application, because of the demand of GPU for developing AI models, NVIDIA now become now overtake Amazon when it comes to market value, which we have never seen in the history of in the financial market. I've never seen that before. But because of the demand for developing models, both large scale, medium scale, and lightweight and heavyweight, so the demand for these processors now become high. As a result of that, NVIDIA now overtake Amazon in capital and value, and it is doing very well when it comes to stock market. So that is what gives NVIDIA such a huge market and value. So we can say, what is AI? Once you say what is AI, a lot of things come to the brain, especially those outside the IT and industry. Once you mention AI, everybody have his own thinking, his own concepts, and his own meaning to what AI is. So when we say AI is just an agent, or we say just a system that is associated with a kind of intelligence that is normally associated with human being, like understanding natural language, solving problems, and learning from experience. So if you have a system or a model or a certain a combination of other system models and also a kind of agent that exhibits such kind of behavior, it now becomes a kind of an intelligent system or intelligent agent or an intelligent model. So I think almost everyone have used an AI application before. I doubt there is anyone that is using mobile phone currently that have never and that have not, and especially smartphones that have not used an AI application. For instance, now, if you are on the Facebook, if sometimes you see friend suggestion on your feed, you see some friend suggestion. All these friend suggestions are possible because of the graph, especially a neural network graph that is running at the background that make prediction of the age to be able to now suggest a mutual friend. You take mutual friend and then predict a kind of image so that can be able to now bring up suggestion for of friends on a user timeline. Or sometimes you talk with a Siri on your mobile phone, you talk with natural language. All these are part of it. Or sometimes you use Google Translate to translate text from one language to another, especially those that travel wide. You go to a country where you can't even talk to anybody because they can't speak English. You only speak English and your local language. And in that country, maybe they speak different language, maybe Arabic, maybe they speak Spanish or certain different language. So you need the help of the Google to be able to translate some literature things so that I can be able to understand what exactly. All these are possible because of the advent of AI. All these applications did not start now. It have started long periods ago. We're going to look at that. We're going to look at that. So, and reason why I bring historical development of AI is that the industry in Nigeria will be able to learn something from the historical background of AI. And there are a lot of people that when you mention AI, they think it's something that just come up maybe 2 years or 3 or 5 years back. AI has been there for a long period of time. You can say 100 years. That is just, if you can just cut it, you can say 100 years. And it is far, far more than the 100 years because there are elements if you go down into the history. So I just bring up this to see, just starting from 1943 to today, to see the trend of development that has been going on in the AI and landscape. So you can see the development of neural network that started in 1943. As a Lisp machine, you see Snap, Turing test, you see expert system, then we now come to ChatGPT, where the transformers were able to develop, and you can see generative adversarial network in 2024 that revolutionized the generative and AI and RIM. So this AI has been there for a long period of time, not something that started new. If you see all this development that you see around, they don't just start now, they have started long period of time. So in the history has shown that AI have gone through turbulence. It is not a straight road that they just walk around and then researchers don't go into the labs, develop models, develop a certain system, and then just deploy it in the society for it. It has followed through a series of criticism, turbulence, and so on. So normally, when it comes to AI, you find out there is an innovation. You find out an innovation that will come up, and then media will now hype it. Media will now hype and then blew it out of proportion. Then after a while, then some criticism and disappointment will start coming because of some of the systems will start failing. Then when that started, people will become disappointed, even researchers and the community will now become stuck. And then funders now started cutting funding on AI research. So we call such a period an AI winter. Also AI winter, that is a period whereby the research in AI is very, very low as a result of cutting funding because of the criticism and disappointment that comes from the innovations that media have overblown out of proportion. Then after a while, you now have a renewed interest, and then you have another innovation. Then you follow through high criticism, disappointment, and funding cuts, AI winter, and then later on now the interest will now be renewed, and then this is how it has been going. So this media hype on AI, it is not new. It is something that has been there for a long period of time. Just like when the leaves comes in, that happens, and when there was expert system, the same issue happens. During leaves mention also the same issue happens. So it has been there. So currently we are also in the AI hype, where AI is highly hype, even out of proportion. So the industry in Nigeria would take a kind of precaution in such a way that when they are deploying AI, can be able to they have it at the back of their mind that anything can happen. Though we are having a hope and we are optimistic that there will be a progress of which we are not going to have something chaotic, but no one can say, but you have to be putting precaution because of the past experience that is happening across the globe throughout the history of AI. So let's look at a few examples of the period where there's an AI winter, the criticism and the disappointment that now transcends AI into a winter. So first is 1964, where the National Research Council stopped machine translation project, and then they suspend funding of AI because of it is very, very slow, it's very expensive, and it is inaccurate. You can see the machine translation, but the way now we see the way we use translator to translate language, we see many feel as if it is something that has just been developed just maybe 2, 5, or 7 years ago. But it has been there since 1964 that the research, even before 64, the research have started. There was research on machine and translation. So the project was suspended because it was very slow, very expensive, and inaccurate. So that reason makes the transcends the project into an AI winter. So in 1967, some renowned scientists like Mabingi and Semo discouraged work on neural networks because the neural network perceptron have issues when it comes to recognition of problem. So at that stage, because of that, the research on neural network have automatically died down and very, very slow because of the criticism and the perceptron has pattern recognition and problem. So this neural network that have gone this step, it is the neural network that is now running at the background of these large language models that we talk about today. Especially like the ChatGPT and the rest and all these generative models, the background is neural network. And you can see the kind of challenges that it has passed through the history. Then next, between 71 to 1975, there was a DARPA that halted a speech understanding project and cut funding because of lack of progress. The model has been pumped, researchers are on work, but there was lack of progress. So for that reason, the DARPA speech and understanding project was stopped and the funding of AI was cut. So that goes into an AI winter. So in 1973, UK stopped funding AI and closed high impact research because of the popular Lighthill report that criticized AI for inability to solve real world problems. So for that reason, they now cut funding and the project was stopped by the UK government because at that time they pumped a large amount of money on AI, but unfortunately the funders are not seeing any impact, are not seeing any results. So they now set up a committee that's led by Professor Lighthill to be able to check and see what is the problem and report back to the government to know the issue. So after they must have reviewed all the project and see the progress and whatsoever. They now find out that there is an issue of inability of the researchers to continue with the research and it is unable to solve a real world problem. So that report really put a stumbling block to AI research, especially not even in the UK. Across the globe at that time, because of the report, it has slowed down the research of funding. So a lot of countries funders started cutting research funding on AI and so on. So in 1984, we have Roger Shanti and Marvin Kimiske that predict the collapse of this machine. At that time, this machine, just like we have the AI, we have AI models, large language models now that are being hyped by the media. At that time, it was a lead machine that was being hyped out of proportion by the media. So Roger Shank and Marvin Minsky, they predict the collapse of the lead machine. Unfortunately, the lead machine later collapsed as a result of some unseen challenges when developing such kind of a machine. So we have the collapse of the lead machine and then the expert system failure. All these are some of the summary of what has happened at the past. So this media hype on AI is not something new. It has been there in the history. Number one, you have started with the innovation. The media can hype on the innovation. Then later on, we now start having challenges. Then funding will now be cut. Then the system will now enter into an AI winter. Then later on, we'll have a renewed interest in innovation. That is the cycle it has been going. So we hope this current AI hype will continue without experiencing such an issue that happened in the past. So AI, the idea of AI normally don't come from the space. Sometimes they come from movies, because there are some AI in science fiction movies that have turned into the reality. These are just a very few examples that's bringing it up now. So, like for instance, now we have a movie, Doctor Who. That Doctor Who movie is around 1977. You have a scene of episode that feature a kind of a robotic dog. The robotic dog that you now see that's mostly with the Chinese community. You see them used by the Chinese and security and community. So you see, many would think that it's something new. It is something new that has just been developed now, but the idea has been there from a movie. So the innovation that comes out from there is that IBM Deep Blue again defeated a chess world champion. You know, there is something with this AI. At a particular time, there is a particular concept that is considered to be the AI. There is a particular period of time that once you mention AI, what comes to mind is game. There's a particular period that in the history of AI, once you mention AI, what comes to mind immediately is robot. So also that is how it keeps on changing depending on the period, depending on the time. So at that time, the major concept that people think AI is game. So that's and the features of a robot dog with the intelligence to defeat his master at the chess, that first appears in game before the innovations. After 20 years, the innovation becomes reality in the world. So we have also the Jason, we have Rosie the Robot Maid, we have the Star Trek. It's a popular movie. All these are different, and there are a lot of this scenes that have later on becomes innovation, has been used in the real life. So I will not take much time because of the limited time I have. So when I give you the slides, you can be able to go through and see the other science fiction scene that later turned on to be a reality. So let's look at almost AI. AI is more of generic name. So let's look at different categories or different types of AI that are in existence. We have the AI that is narrow. We have the explainable AI, we have generative AI, we have AGI, and we have ASI. So if we look at the AI narrow, it only solves a single text and mostly simple line tasks, like let's say language translation, prediction, classification, and so on. Then explainable AI, these are algos, intelligent algos that with the ability or capability of justifying its decision. So that's generative AI, which is generative AI. This generative AI is currently we can be able to declare that we are in an era of generative AI. It generates content, text, video, image, source code, and so on. Then we have AGI, that is artificial general intelligence. That's a system. We are not yet into AGI and ASI. AGI is a system that can be able to understand anything that human being can understand. It has the same intellectual tasks, can be able to perform different intellectual tasks like human beings. I can perform multitasking in different domains. Just the same, be able to have the same IQ or the same intelligence like human being. So we are not yet into this stage. And there is also ASI, that is artificial super intelligence, situation whereby the AGI will now be able to improve itself to the level that can be able to be more intelligent than human beings. So these two categories are not yet into reality. These are future concept, or let's say a future prediction. But the large language models, many have argued that the large language models is heading towards the AGI. So these are we're going to look at generative AI. We'll take the generative AI and discuss about it and see how we can be able to now leverage on our resources to be able to develop solutions that can solve immediate problem in our community. So as we say, generative AI, this is just a kind of algorithm that generates content instead of making a prediction. And those content, as I mentioned before, can be numerical values, audio, video, images, text, and can be a combination. That is multimodal. You can have text and image together, video, image, and text together, and so on. These are multimodal. So these are some AI tags, like we have the synthesis, conversions, translation, we have voice, and we have quality improvement. For instance, now we can be able to generate text. We can be able to generate text from an existing text, image, video, speech, 3D, and graphs. And then also conversion from one that's multimodal, conversion from one model to another model, like from image to text, text to image, video to image, video to text, and so on. That is conversion. They also have translation that makes it possible for us to have translators in existence, to have the voice, like the talking face, music, lips reading, all these are possible with generative AI. The quality improvement, and you can see even now, you can see a lot of videos that the quality has been improved. They are old videos, you can have old videos or old images that can be improved, that the quality, the visual quality can be improved. Like that's what was normally what was the image restoration and editing. So all these are in existence. So we are going to look at the background information or background technology behind all these models that generate content. So there are a lot of different generative models. Generating content is also not something new. It has been there for a long period of time, even in the 80s, when autoregressive models were used and hidden Markov models, Gaussian mixture models were used at that time. So at that time, the generation was very, very limited and very small, and they are highly limited. So it was in the 2014 that generative Godfrey Fellow now innovate, or let's say come up with a gang that is a generative algorithm that blew or explode the field of generative AI. So these are different algorithms. You can see the classification here, as you can see on the board. You can see encoder decoder base. You have the zero-sum game where we have generative adversarial network, which revolutionize the area of generative and AI. You have physics-based, statistics, and hybrid. But the physics-based has been there long period of time, even in the 80s, where they generate some simple content, but in highly limited way. There are a lot of them. They were just a representative for you to be able to know, for you to be able to explore and further. So, and there is a kind of issue with these generative models. Generative models is that they are not effective or efficient across domain. So you have different content. So different content have different better suitable and AI model or generative model can be able to generate such kind of content and very well or very high in quality. So for instance, if you have a kind of generative model that can be able to generate video effectively. So if you use that same algo to generate different content, it may be able to generate it, but the quality will be very, 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 very low because it's more suitable for videos. So you can see the different type of GAN model, their operations, and the tag suitability. Music, human portrait, you can have a 3D object, texture, landscape, depending on what you are generating. This is just a sample from versions of GAN. So when developing such kind of models, because the model is domain dependent, depends on the domain. Because when you develop a model from a particular domain, you can't move that to another domain to expect a result there. Those of you in the AI community knows that is a common knowledge. So that is that with different versions of GAN, different with operations and tags that are suitable for such a different GAN. So when you are developing a kind of model, you have to be able to understand which kind of algo you are going to use in developing such a model that can be able to produce a high quality and content. So,
Dr. Chiroma, you have 5 minutes to wrap up so that we can then take Q&As. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay. So I have 5 minutes to round up. So, what you are seeing now on the board is just a change of users' interaction with the computing devices from a simple click and go to generation of content. So, as we have said, this is a kind of changes, the kind of infrastructure required for building such kind of model. So, as the way the previous speaker mentioned about a large those supercomputers in data center, but there are some a little one that you can start with, those with $4,000, $7,000 that also used in that are also used in developing those models. You can start with the one that I've just displayed here before we reach a period where we can be able to afford the super and computer. So this is a pipeline for developing a generative model. First of all, you have to decide on the task. Is this synthesis, conversion, whatsoever you are doing? Data set. So the next thing, you have to get to data set. This is where Nigerian context now comes in. So if you are building a model, the data have to come from Nigerian context. Because if you build a model, the model is always biased towards the data that has been used to build such kind of model. So if you are building a model, the data have to come from the context of Nigeria. You have to collect the data within, even if it is a data that is only have to digitalize the data so that can be able to use such kind of data to develop a kind of model that is useful within our immediate community. For instance, let's say for the fashion industry, there are different designs. Anybody that goes to the fashion designer have to ask for designs. So what you do here, if you're building model for such kind of small industry, we have to get the designs, the different previous designs, and then use such images to develop the model that the fashion designer can be able to use to show to customers different types of design to choose. The same thing with furniture industry. In the furniture industry, you have to use previous designs and then use that to develop such a model that you can deploy on the mobile phone of a furniture maker within our community to be able to show different design to customers to choose. The same thing when you go to building industry, you have to get the kind of buildings we have across the country within Nigeria, and then use that to develop the model so that if you have a client, all you need to do is be able to generate a certain concept. So movie industry are not left behind because because of the generation of video that makes it even the most benefit of this model, because the scene that is difficult or expensive, you can be able to use that to generate that with the facial of the top movie stars, and then embed it into the movie as a real life experience. Then in cooking also, you don't expect to have a model that have an ingredient that have an ingredient from the Western world and expect to cook amala, or you cook a tuwo to produce fura. That is not possible. Then you have to use our local ingredients here to build model that can be able to produce recipe for woman. So there are challenges in these models. These are some of the, like hallucination. We have, and the model normally can't read your mind. These are some of the challenges, especially hallucination, one of the famous issue. So there are intellectual debates that is going on among the top researchers in AI. Some are saying that it's possible to have an AGI. Some are saying it's not possible. So these are the different views from different top scientists in the AI community. So these are some of emerging concepts that I have. I think I will skip those emerging concepts. So okay, let me come here. So this is a website that if you can be able to develop, or so if you can be able to develop, you can venture into this site. You can have a little work can be able to do, because Nigeria, they accept clients from they accept freelance developers from Nigeria. That is why I bring this platform. So if you're a student, you can go in here and then be able to see what you can do, and then you be able getting some small dollars for yourself. So if you are a researcher, there are venues where you can publish, and after the publication you get paid. Like if you publish in IOP, you get $4,600. Sometimes £3,000, $4,600. If you publish in Springer, you have 1,200. There are journals where you publish, you have dollars. Now you see the one you have here, $800, $500. So this is a book I published. This book, they have a lot of resources. On it. You can be able to go and see the current trend in AI, including and how they operate and the way and the platform you can be able to use to develop. This is the overview of the books, chapter 1 to chapter 9, including bibliometric and analysis. So this is another book for computer research survival. It's purely for computing. The book is written based on the context of computing discipline. all the discipline we have, the 7 discipline we have: computer science, computer engineering, information system, AI, and computer science, software engineering. All these are contained in the book, and the methodology is within the domain of each discipline. So it's a book that you can use it. So sometimes at my leisure time, I write an article for newspaper to create awareness on the applications of AI. So let's look at where Nigeria is in the productivity of AI. So if you look at the screen now, you can see that Nigeria, the position of Nigeria in AI is nowhere to be found. So we can see how the previous speaker, I think, if you can liaise with the government to say they can improve our so they can be able to start competing globally. After we start competing globally, so that our name will be on the global scale. Before, if you look at what is currently happening in the chart, you can see that Nigeria is missing. So it's just a performance of institution on AI research. You can see the institutions are dominated by institutions from America, mostly from America and China. Then other Europe follows that we are missing also here. Then organizations that fund the research also, they are mostly from China and America, and we are also missing. So this is a prediction for 2024, prediction of technology. You can see about three different subjects are all AI based. So this is a trending field: agentic AI, autonomous systems, and so on. So this is a very good place where this is a very good topics where researchers can venture into, especially the PhD students. So as the previous speaker said, data, no machine learning, no data, no machine learning. So there's a saying that said that in the future, crude oil is data. The future crude oil is data. Data is going to become very expensive than oil. So that's why sometimes referred to as the future and crude and oil. So that is that. This is an emoji. This is an emoji. I would like to end the talk with this emoji. This is the rest of the world, funders, sponsors. So you can be able to interpret it as the way you feel. These are the emojis I bring for you to be able to see possible things that may happen when AI reaches a certain stage. So with this, I will say thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate for giving me this opportunity to share the little I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Haruna Chiroma, for that insightful presentation. Please, let's give him a round of virtual applause from wherever we are. You can please note your questions, and for those who have joined us on Facebook, you can put your questions in the comment section. We will read them out. We'll be taking questions shortly, but before then, I want to remind us, or to inform us that in September, we'll be having a conference in Port Harcourt, our second Super AI conference in Port Harcourt. And we'll be expecting everybody in the audience to be part of that conference. The theme of the conference is AI for Intergenerational Growth. That's Grow AI 2026. And it will hold from 20th to 30th September in Port Harcourt. We can get more information about that from our website, which is PAIDeF, PAIDEF.org.ng, or from our social media handles. Facebook, we're on Facebook, we're on X, we're on Instagram, and we're also on LinkedIn. Just search for PAIDeF, you'll be able to get more information about the conference. We'll also be looking forward to seeing you in Jos at the end of the month, 27th to 30th, for the Nigerian Computer Society International Conference. You can get more information about that also on NCS website, ncs.org.ng. So thank you so much, Mr. Blessing Oladeji and Dr. Haruna Chiroma, for your presentation. So we'll now be taking questions. If you want to send your question via chat, you can do that. If you want to speak or you want to contribute, please, you can show your hands, but we'll be limiting you to just 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes, so that we can take as many questions and as many contributions as. So, Mr. Shitu, pardon me if you're a doctor or professor, you have the floor. Your question or contribution.
Notwithstanding, I'm Dr. Shitu Musa from ABU Zaria. Actually, I feel honored and I appreciate the presenters. Their presentation is well explicit. The only issue is that the slides are too tiny for one to visualize what they have been presented. I don't know if it is possible for the organizers, if they can send the record. Meanwhile, they enlarge the slide for people to see and be able to capture very well. Thank you very much. That is my take.
A quick response to that. We will be sending the slides to your email, registered email addresses, and also a link to the recording. That will be done in the next 24 hours. We're sending both the slides and link to recordings to your email, and also a link for you to join PAIDeF if you are not yet a member of PAIDeF. Mr. Dr. Professor Muhyiddin Adebayo, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Well, I'm a mister and I hope to get to those levels that you have mentioned very soon. Thank you very much to the speakers for the various presentations. My question is directed at Mr. Blessing, my boss. And it is, how can experts and associations like PAIDeF either pressure or persuade the government to lead AI adoption, even in the civil service? And the reason why it is important for the government to lead adoption is that government-led adoption would improve the speed of development, infrastructure development, security, training, and it will serve as an insurance for private investors and private companies who want to invest heavily in AI applications in various sectors. So how can associations like this lead government? For instance, in Albania, the Albanian Prime Minister recently, I think about a year or two ago, unveiled the first AI minister. And we know that AI has the power to cut down on the excesses of some civil service agents and organizations, and even help in fighting corruption. So that's my question. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Tamilore. That question is directed at me. Let me take that quickly. I'm very, very aware that there's a whole lot that PAIDEF is doing behind the scene that may not necessarily be in the open, in terms of driving innovation, engaging the government at the highest level. I've been in a meeting where the Minister for Information, Communication and Data Economy, he acknowledged Professor Adeshina. You are calling Professor Adeshina for his intervention or for some of the programs, that the associations like NCS, PAIDEF that they're implementing. So yes, it may not necessarily be public knowledge, but PAIDEF is driving some of this conversation. However, what is in the public know is the National AI Scaling Hub. And the essence of the National AI Scaling Hub is to drive adoption, is to drive implementation and adoption at scale, And even though that particular intervention by Bill Gates Foundation is domiciled in Lagos Business School, but it's our own, no? It's for everybody. It's for everybody. If you are implementing, so in fact, part of what they plan to do is that they are going to be crowdsourcing problems. Typically, what we are used to is crowdsourcing solution to a problem. But in this case, they are going to be crowdsourcing problems from all the MDAs, and then they will throw those problems open to researchers and to startups and to the ecosystem. If you can solve it, and they will provide resources, for you to be able to solve those problems. And once you solve the problem, they take the solution back to the MDA from where they source the original problem. So more or less like a backward integration, solving the problem, solving a national problem from the real owners of the problem. So there's a whole lot that is going on in the ecosystem. Join PAIDeF, you will be in the know. If you join PAIDeF, at least you know what is happening and you'll be able to connect with other guys within the ecosystem. I know there may be other answers apart from my own answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Blessing. There's a question here in the chat. I think Dr. Haruna should help us take that. From Mr. Christopher Temi Dayo Tufade. His question goes thus: I am a mechanical engineer. I want to do my PhD, or is it possible to do it in the AI field? Secondly, will I find it easy PhD again? Lastly, can anyone be of help? That's a question from Mr. Christopher Timi Dayo Fadi for Dr. Chiroma.
Okay, I think I respond to that question in writing to the questioner. But let me digress a little bit. Yes, you can be able to do your PhD in AI, but you must. I don't know your MS, whether you have done PGD, you have ever done PGD in computer science. But the thing is that mostly before you can move from one field to another, you normally need postgraduate diploma in that field that you are changing. For instance, now you are a mechanical engineer, you are moving into computer science, AI to be specific. You are moving into AI, so you need to have a postgraduate diploma in computer science or any related and IT and discipline, computer science. It can be computer science or software engineering or something like that. Let's say computer science. Then after that, you now have masters in the computer science. Then you move to start your PhD, or you have your masters in MS and in AI, because now there are a lot of universities that have flooded and AI. For instance, like Open University, they are doing masters in AI. They have a center there that they do masters in AI. So the best thing for you to have postgraduate diploma, then move to maybe Open University, because they are already doing masters in AI. Then you do your masters in AI, then move into PhD. Then maybe you may decide to change in university after you may supporting the MSc and the Center of Excellency in Open University. So, but if there's another university that do an AI at the PG level, you can do that. Then later on, after that, after you graduated, then you move for PhD in artificial intelligence. So that is how you can go about it, since you are from mechanical engineering. Yes, it's not going to be extremely difficult for you, because if you are able to do engineering, I think you can be able to do an AI. And deep, when I mean AI, I mean to go deep into the algorithm equations, generating algorithms and so on, and then making and developing in code to be able to develop a kind of model. That's what I mean by you doing the AI, not that you will be using models at the peripheral level. You can be able to do it. There is no issue. And there is one that you have an advantage. By the time you're able to have a PhD in AI, you are able to start developing models. You are going to look at your background of mechanical engineering to start developing models that can generate different engineering designs, maybe far better than the one that are currently existing. So thank you very much. This is what I got to say.
Thank you, Doctor. Mr. Emmanuel Adebayo, your question, please, or contribution.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I think you can hear me.
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, I want to appreciate the speakers and the participants. My question is directed to the second speaker, Professor Chiroma. I really followed this presentation and I enjoyed it. I want to call his attention to the slide where he presented the various countries and their exploits in AI activities. And USA has the largest count of about 94,000, followed by India, then China, then UK, and several European countries. I want to say that if he had actually added a few African countries, even if it is one count or 0.5, we will actually know where we are. We know that all these developed countries are way ahead of us, but at least the little that some African countries have, if we can see all those things, then we will know how to buckle up and we'll be able to appropriate ourselves and where we actually belong. But for no African country to have appeared on this data doesn't show that we are even anywhere. And at least we have some people like the presenter himself and Professor Oladele or Odudele, the first presenter. So the few Africans and Nigerians that have made some inroads in this will have handed us a little point. So I want to see how far some African countries have gone, rather than not even seeing us at all as having done anything AI. Thank you so much. This is my observation. Thank you.
This is a very good observation. This observation is very, very good. I could have the things that I could have extract African countries, then we know our positions, just like the one we have for the other nations. It's a very, very good
Yes.
observation.
Yeah, this
I
is what I
think you
meant.
have
So
even opened my mind. I will, in fact, immediately after we finish, you have given me a job. I will do it.
yes.
Thank you very
So
much
that
for this observation.
we can know where we are, even if it is
Yes,
0%.
exactly. And there is one thing is that sometimes we look, how will I put it to be a little bit mild? Sometimes we look down on ourselves. But if you are able to opportunity to work with these people, you understand that the only thing they are paid upon is the motivation and funding. But in Nigeria, we have when you talk of brains, if you come to Nigeria, forget it. But when
That
you
is
work
it.
with these people outside, you
That
have
is
maybe
it.
work on project with them, we do a lot of things with them, you'll be able to understand that when you come to
That's it.
Nigeria, the brains are there. The only thing they need is the motivation and the resources, and that is the only thing they need. Can you even imagine that if you go to this top and database like Web of Science Corpus, you see Nigerian universities competing with a lot of universities across the world, and
That is
you
just
find out that those
it.
people and those top universities, they have all the machines, they have the resources, the motivation, all they need. But we here, those universities in Nigeria, they are struggling. People are struggling, but yet you find out they are struggling and still publishing in those places where lecturers from Harvard, MIT, and London College, King's College, all of where they are publishing Nigerian publishing the same venue. So that's to show you that what we are lacking is just motivation and the resources. That's all. But once we'll be able to have resources and motivation, I'm telling you, Nigeria would be at the top. It will be at the top because the manpower is there, the brains are there. So only this coordination that is required.
And some of these countries that are making this, some of these countries that they are making waves, those who are contributing to them are Nigerians.
Exactly. If you go, you see, it's hardly you go to a project. You go to a project without seeing one Nigerian or two at one corner doing wonders. Very difficult.
That is it.
Thank you, Dr. Chiroma and Dr. Professor Adebayo. We would like to take the next person. Thank you. Okay, Mr. or Mrs. Blessing Adeleke.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for the presentation. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can hear you.
All right, thank you very much. The question I want to ask in terms of the use of AI in academic research. I don't know what is the position of the community. I mean, also because I've listened to some webinars in which some professors say, okay, there's nothing bad. And some will say, well, you cannot use AI for your research and what have you. So in this era in which we already have proliferations of AI, what is the position of PAIDeF, maybe the AI community in terms of academic research, in terms of, proposal, grant writings, and all that? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Will Mr. Blessing Oladeji take that? You are also a PhD researcher, so can you take that question for us, please? Is Mr. Blessing still with us? Mr. Blessing Oladeji, the speaker?
Yeah, so yeah.
We can't hear you. Did you get a question?
Should I repeat the question?
Well, I think probably you have a problem with connection. Mr. Blessing Oladeji, are you with us? Probably can Dr. Chiroma take that briefly? Seems Mr. Oladeji is...
Okay. The use of AI tools in research. I think that's what he is asking. How is it allowed or not allowed? So the thing is that there is ethical use of AI tools in research, and there is also an unethical use of AI tools in research. So it is, I think, in the next webinar, if you may allow me, or maybe a workshop, we can create maybe a workshop where we can gather researchers here to learn how the ethical way of using the research tools in a research. Let me give some few examples. For instance, let me start with the ethical. You write, normally when you write, you go for proofreading. After paraphrasing, manually you paraphrase your work. The next thing is proofreading. Maybe after you have finished your manuscript, then you go for proofreading. So you can proofread your work. Proofreading is ethical. You can proofread your work, which is highly ethical. Then, example of ethical, you cannot just go to any of this model and then prompt with a particular subject or topic for the model to be able to generate content, maybe text content for you, and then you just copy it and paste into your text. And sometimes you may ask him to make a citation. And this citation can be fabricated citation. And the text you generated is an unethical and is an unethical content that you generated, and you now and use it in your manuscript. So these are two examples. One is ethical, one is unethical. So time will not permit. Maybe in the future we're going to organize a workshop so that we can come here and then use it live to see how these models can be used in the research. And when you finish many manuscripts now, you have to provide acknowledgement, the level as which you use these models. You have to go to the particular section, and then sometimes you call it an AI disclosure. Then you have to explain the extent of which you use this AI tool. You write it there as AI disclosure. So while so doing, you have used it ethically. So that is the little example I can give now.
Thank you, Dr. Chiroma. Let me just give another perspective, even beyond academic research. We've had lawyers that were fined for using AI to make citations, to make legal citations that are non-existent. Some were fined, some had their licenses, their practice licenses revoked because they could not verify some of those citations that came out from AI. So, of course, you can use AI maybe in some aspect of your research. If you are doing deep research, you can easily extract content, find content from the internet and give you those citations. But sometimes AI hallucinates. It will just go and generate something that is non-existent and it will look real and it can sound confident in giving you wrong results. So you still need to bear the liability of whatever the outcome is. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chiroma and Mr. Oladeji, for the different perspective. I mean, from the perspective, different angles. Attach that question. Mr. Anas Lawal, your question or contribution?
Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. I hope you are hearing me, sir.
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Sir, my question is that through my master abroad, I'm applying scholarship. My question: can I use while write my statement of purpose, and how can I use wisely? That is my question. And the lastly is, can certificate is meet? That is. Thank you so much, sir.
I'm not sure if Dr. Chiroma got that question because it's breaking from my own end. I don't know if it's my connection or Mr. Lawal's connection. If Dr. Chiroma got that,
can you
then
repeat
please
the
answer
question?
that.
Hello, sir.
Please repeat it, Mr.
Hello,
Lawal.
sir. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you now.
You are, sir.
I can hear you now.
Okay, sir. I use it while writing my purpose, sir, and I use it wisely.
Purpose of what?
Statement of purpose.
Okay, statement of purpose.
Yeah.
No,
So,
your
Mr. Lawal, we
statement of
can't
purpose,
actually hear you. Sorry, Mr. Lawal, since we can't actually hear, we are going to send the slides to your box and you'll get Dr. Chiroma's email. I think
Okay,
he
sir.
won't mind you sending him an email so that we can move
Oh,
forward.
okay, sir. Thank you. Okay, sir.
Uh, if Mr. Chukuma is not longer with us, please.
Okay, I'm here. I'm having a network challenge. Good evening, all. Yeah, so thank you so much, our presenters. My name is Dr. Lise. So I want to ask two questions. One, as a human resource personnel, I want to ask, how confident are we with leaving our data with AI, or how secure is our data going to be with AI? Owing to the fact that we have a lot of personnel data, and then there are a lot of models we work with currently. So, and we are not very sure of the security of our data. So I really want to know how secure our data is with AI. Then secondly, I also want to ask, as a professional librarian, how can this AI really transform our responsibilities as librarian? Thank you. I don't know if my question is well understood.
Yeah, the question is clear. Will Mr. Oladeji answer that for us?
you. Thank you, Dr. Olise. Yeah. So you have two questions. One is how secure is your data with AI? The second question is, as a librarian, how do you leverage AI? Different organizations now are coming up with policies, on organizational policies in terms of how their how their team can leverage AI, But very specifically to the question that you answer, you cannot expose confidential information or personal identifiable data to AI. You are going to be flouting some of the privacy rules if you are exposing like HR data. Maybe you have the payroll, for example, and AI can simply do analysis. You take all the payroll of your organization and you load it into Claude that analyzes data. And so how AI works is that, so see AI like a light bulb. So there's a light bulb in your bedroom. Anything that light bulb in your bedroom sees, he shares it with all the light bulb in the house. Even he shares it with the street light, that is with the light bulb that is for the street light at your estate gate. He shares it with everything. So when you expose your organizational data or when you expose personal identifiable data with AI, AI is like you can see AI like a human being, So anything you tell AI already knows it, and AI can share that information with someone else. So what some other organizations, what they are trying to do in order to solve this problem is that they now have their own enterprise AI application. Some of these applications are built in-house, and they augment it with their own. So they can use open source models and then augment it with the organizational knowledge. But it is not exposed to the internet. It's not exposed to the public in such a way that when somebody else that is not in your organization cannot even access it in order to query it. But when you take information from your organization and you put it on ChatGPT, automatically you are exposing information about that organization or about the subject, we call that the data subject. Now you're exposing it to the internet, and that is even against the rule. In fact, NDPC, Nigerian Data Protection Commission, can find your organization or find you and find you liable for doing that. Then as a librarian, of course, in the library, there are a lot of books. There's a lot of knowledge in the library. You can have your own customized large language model. You can have your own library AI that has the knowledge about the entire library or about all the books that are in the library. You can train a model based on what you have in the library in such a way that if somebody is looking for maybe a book in the library, you can just query a model and tell you exactly where to find it. And if you're even looking for the content of a book in the library, instead of going to look for that physical book, the large language model or the model can simply tell you what is in the book. So essentially automating the library, that is also possible. I hope I'm able to answer your question, Dr. Olise.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. For the very first question, the data security, I think I'm clear now that it's not totally secured. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Mr. Oladeji. The last question will be from Mr. Isa Mohammed. Mr. Isa Mohammed, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for this opportunity given to us to participate in these wonderful presentations. My own questions is the issue of AI that we have. Are we now measuring the productivity, the increase in the productivity of by using AI, or we are looking into the way it gives keep us lazy sometimes? Something that you can do it in AI in 3 minutes, in just a second. and but by using manual process, you can take a time. But for the productivity increase, are we measuring it? That is my question. Now in academy, you can have a student doing a project that is done before, maybe before even knowing the AI, but he's still doing it now using the AI, the same thing without increasing the productivity. So my question is that how can we make that into considerations? Thank you. Hello?
Yeah, thank you. Will Dr. Haruna respond to that? Is Dr. Haruna still with us? Can Mr. Blessing help us respond to that? Can't seem to get.
Okay, sir. Yeah, so speaking of productivity, sir. So yes, AI has brought significant savings in time that we can use in getting things done. I will give you a very personal example. I write SQL code. I've been writing SQL code. I've been coding SQL since 2003, but there are still codes that if I have to write them, it could take me like maybe some couple of hours, in order to be able to get the right code. But now with a simple prompt, I just put it in AI. So this is what I'm trying to achieve, and this is what I have available. And AI will write that code for me, and it will be correct, 100% correct. Yeah, there are websites, there are applications that I build these days. Typically, maybe it will take 3 months to build those type of application. Within 15 minutes, the application is up and running and ready for deployment. So yes, AI brings a lot of productivity to what we do. So in fact, now if Bill Gates says that the challenge now is that we now have more time at our disposal, and what are we going to be doing with those times? See, in my organization, if you ask me to do a proposal before AI, it could take like maybe 1 week for me to research, to collect all the documents that I need in order to do that proposal. But these days, AI will do like 80% of the job for me. I will just do the remaining 20%. So I don't have to spend 2 weeks or 1 week to do a proposal. AI can simply get it done for me. All I just need to do is like my assistant. It's like my assistant, my intern. So I just need to review and bring my own creativity and my own experience into the output it has given to me. And by that, when I present it, it does not look like an AI generated document by the time I eventually present it. So yes, AI drives significant productivity. I don't know if there's any research work that is measuring that, but of course, it could be something of interest to see between the time that an organization deployed AI. How were we performing before and how are we performing now? It will be something of interest for entities to measure, but of course, it's going to vary from organization to organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mr. Blessing Oladeji. We can't wait for you to complete your PhD so I can call you doctor properly. And also Dr. Haruna Chiroma. We won't be able to take further questions. Those who have questions can contact speakers directly. Like I said, we'll be sharing their slides, all of us via email, and also a recording of this of this meeting. So we cannot appreciate the lecturers enough, but to appreciate and thank them, we'll be calling on no other person than the chair of our advisory board, Professor Adesina Sodia, to thank them and also present awards to them now. Chairman, sir, Professor Sodia.
Thank you so much, Well, can you help us to present the first award to Blessing Oladeji so that we make that presentation first?
Okay, Prof. We also like to see your face. So.
Okay. Let me. Can you see me now?
You came and you disappeared.
Okay, yes, we can see you now.
Okay. So,
just a minute.
let
Go ahead,
me. Yes, I want to, on behalf of PAIDeF, appreciate our speakers, our experts today. The participants will agree with us that we have brought the best AI expert in Nigeria to come and have interaction with us. We are so privileged to have these two experts, these two highly rated professionals. We first noted the idea to Mr. Blessing Oladeji when we were having our conference last year. And of course, somebody that is passionate about AI, he accepted immediately. And I just follow up on the discussion, and this is where we are. I'm very sure that all of us will even expect the interaction with Mr. Blessing Oladeji to continue. But of course, we are still going to bring them back. This is just a prelude to what is going to happen during our conference that is coming up in September. We want to appreciate you so much, Mr. Blessing Oladeji. I want to thank you for your work. This man is really very practical. He has a company, practicing AI and data science. He has done a lot of work for so many big organizations. And that is why we brought him, and we also brought somebody from academia so that we can combine contributions, ideas from these two sectors. Mr. Blessing Oladeji is also an academic person, so we are waiting. I wonder why you did not come to my school for your PhD, but no problem. Dr. Chiroma, who has been a brother for quite a while, is one of the top-rated researchers in Nigeria. And of course, some of us that are researchers, if you are talking about H-index, is highly rated. So he has published a lot of high-impact articles. And of course, currently he's enjoying himself in Saudi Arabia. He just came to Nigeria just about a week ago. And we are also hoping that these two gentlemen will be around during our conference that is coming up in September. We hope Dr. Chiroma will still be around. If you want to go back, you can reschedule so that you can attend our conference physically in Port Harcourt. I want to storm Port Harcourt. In fact, the first day of the conference in Port Harcourt is going to be a workshop. We are trying to put two separate workshops together, technical workshop and some workshop together. I think from what Dr. Chiroma also mentioned today, that it would be good to have a session on how to use AI in research and education. I think we'll also look at that. Having said that, on behalf of the president of PAIDeF, the National Executive Council, and the entire membership of PAIDeF, we want to thank our speakers, Mr. Blessing Oladeji and Dr. Chiroma, for their wonderful presentations, wonderful contribution, and for their passion, about AI development in Nigeria. We know that PAIDeF has also been challenged today. We'll continue to take it higher and higher. We started just about 2 years ago. We have a lot to do in terms of growing AI in Nigeria. Of course, all of us will need to come together. We need your contributions. We need to work together. We need to engage government together. We need to develop strategies, and take it forward.
We still have a lot to do. I attended one AI ethics workshop that was organized by UNESCO and Federal Ministry of Communication. And we're also talking about some of the things we need to do, to enhance adoption of AI in Nigeria. But we'll get there. Almighty God will be with us. Yeah. The first award is for Mr. Blessing. We are going to do the presentation virtually. You have seen it. You also hold it with your mind as if I'm presenting to you. I know it's going to be forwarded to your mail immediately after this session, but this is the award, and this is in recognition of your remarkable contribution, to the advancement of artificial intelligence in Nigeria. Well, this session is called Growing AI in Nigeria, and of course, we appreciate you so much, Mr. Oladeji, and we hope that you continue to be there with us. You continue to do what you know how to do best, and we pray that Almighty God will also continue to bless your business and continue to take you higher and higher. God bless you, Mr. Oladeji, on behalf of PAIDeF. Congratulations once again. And as our AI stellar, you are going to remain on our website forever. So this is also, this award is special because this is going to be the 4th award. You are now also going to be our 4th AI stellar. The other does not matter, but the next one, the 5th one, is also going to be for Dr. Chiroma. So congratulations, Mr. Oladeji. Let's jam our hands together, whether virtually or physically, for Mr. Blessing Oladeji for the wonderful job that he has done for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate this. Thank you. I'm going to put this in a frame and hang it in my office. Thank you very much.
That is great. That's good. Thank you so much. Yeah. So Dr. Chiroma now. Dr. Chiroma. Yeah, we thank you so much for what you have done. We actually wanted to do this long time ago, that we have been discussing it. We have been looking for opportunity to bring Dr. Chiroma on board. He is somebody that has made a lot of contribution in AI. You all listening to his profile. He has published books in AI, he has written research papers, scientific research papers. He has served as editor-in-chief, and he has been involved in so many academic activity in the area of AI. We thank you for coming on board. We hope that you are now going to be part of PAIDeF fully. I'm not sure Dr. Chiroma is a member, but I'm very sure that anything we want Dr. Chiroma to do, he is also going to do it. We hope that you are not going to be part of us so that we continue to cross-fertilize ideas. And you also be part of the people that will also be guiding and supporting our activities in PAIDeF. We thank you so much, and we pray that Almighty God will continue to lift you up, make you great, in your chosen career. Where you are now in Saudi Arabia, working. I mean, maybe you have gone for contract. We want something higher for you, and I'm very sure it's going to come. Wherever you go, please put PAIDeF at the back of your heart. On behalf of the President, the National Executive Council, Board of the Advisory Board of PAIDeF, and the entire membership of PAIDeF, we present this award to you, Dr. Haruna Chiroma, AI Stellar Award. This is going to be our 5th award, and this makes you special. This makes you special in PAIDeF, and you will remain special with us as God wishes. So I present this award to you. Congratulations, Dr. Chiroma. God bless you for coming. We appreciate you so much. So thank you for helping us to clap for Dr. Chiroma, and of course, we'll continue to have interaction with them as we proceed in our journey in PAIDeF. Thank you, Dr. Chiroma. So, Dr. Chiroma, do you want to say something before I hand over back to the compere for this event? Okay, over to you, Director of Publicity.
Thank you. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Professor Sodia, the chairman of our advisory board. We are coming to an end. Still just have two more items to touch. And one is closing remarks by Professor Martins Ekate Irebudi. Professor Martins, please, can you give closing remarks before we then take votes of thanks?
All right. Thank you very much, Director. Well, just a few highlights. There is one thing that is certain. AI has come to stay. So the earlier we accept it, the better for us. And there's one key thing that Mr. Blessing mentioned. He said you should grow your career with AI and pick a lane. So you should be known for something. Stand where you will be recognized. And then there's also an issue of you should be responsible in your design, responsible by design as you grow in your AI journey. And our doctor mentioned something about AI winter. And I want to mention that whatever you are doing, whatever challenge you face, don't give up. Just know that as you continue in the journey of your research, you will somehow get to the point you get that success that you so desire. And we know that there is a lot of potential that is there. There is great future that is ahead of us in AI. So we have chosen the right career. We should stay put and enjoy it. An issue of infrastructural limitation that was mentioned in when it comes to designing or developing AI solution. Dr. Chiroma suggested a way out where we can make some money. I think we can take note of that and also make use of such opportunity to make some money, because to develop solutions in AI is not cheap. It is expensive. We should be ready to pay the price and get the result we so desire. And on the issue of Nigeria or Africa not visible, I think my own counsel in that direction is that we should publish with specific purpose in mind. We should target our areas, the areas we publish. We should not just have good works and then keep it somewhere just because we want to get published. We publish it just anyhow. We should have a focus and get visible so that when they are talking about people outside, we should also be mentioned. I think just these few points I will hand over back to my director. Thank you for the opportunity. I want to appreciate our presenters. They have done very well. I appreciate them. And we know that we will continue to work together and get things done and take PAIDeF to the next level that it deserves to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Martins. With that, we've come to the end of today's program. But before we close, I would like to thank members of the NEC of the NCS present. I think the Executive Secretary is also present here. And I want to give your indulgence to also thank Dr. Yinka Oyerinde, who is my own zonal coordinator in NCS, and the chairman of the advisory board of PAIDeF, Professor Additional Sudia for the guidance and always being here with us, and all members of the executive of PAIDeF, starting with Professor Awodele, our president. I also want to thank all members of PAIDeF who have attended this webinar, and special thanks to the guest speakers who have done justice to the topic. We wish we could continue listening on and on, but we know we'll be able to listen to you and interact better when we have our conference in September 2026 in Port Harcourt. So thank you, Dr. Haruna Chiroma and Mr. Blessing Oladeji. And to all others who have joined us, the meet here on Zoom and also on Facebook, who are not yet members of PAIDeF, we want to thank you for being a part of this. Like was mentioned earlier, we'll be sharing slides and the recording of this meeting to us via email. It will also be on PAIDeF website, so you can always download it. This is also being live streamed on Facebook, so immediately we are done, you can go to our Facebook page and watch it, even though we'll be sending you links to download the recording and also to view it on YouTube. So thank you very much for joining us and have a good day wherever you are. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well appreciated.
Thank you. We are grateful.
Thank you.
Tell you something that's very important.
Thank you. We really appreciate this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are grateful for the webinar.
Hello. Thank you. We are very grateful to be
Thank
part
you
of this
all.
wonderful program. All meet in the next session.
Thank you all. Thank you, Prof. Thank you, Professor Ludule. Thank you, Professor Shudia. Thank you, everybody. God bless you all. Amen.
Thank you, everybody.